from the ministry standpoint, the BDC is the implementation for the sector in terms of export activities. It is therefore with some pleasure that I share a few brief comments this morning at the opening of this Latin American Market Survey findings of the BDC. I am advised that the seminar will seek to disseminate outcomes of recently concluded market survey visits which took place to El Salvador and Panama, Guatemala, and the Dominican Republic. Such information is considered to be important to our domestic manufacturing and exporting community as our businesses seek to make inroads into the Latin American market. For the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment, it is very important at this time in our existence that every effort be made to encourage our manufacturers to break into new markets and to further penetrate existing markets. In this regard, the existing policy of government in the area of trade involves the aggressive pursuit of trade interests in the Latin American market. That is one of the stated areas of focus of the government. At present, export opportunities to Latin American countries provide many firms with an avenue to extend the activities beyond the typical CARICOM markets, as these markets generally have a larger population base and, if skillfully explored, can contribute to the promotion of increased scale of production in many local companies. If we were to look at the figures, for example, Costa Rica has 4.6 million, the Dominican Republic 9.96 million, Venezuela 27.64, Colombia 44.73, Cuba 11.1 million, Panama 3.46 million, Guatemala 16.3 million, El Salvador 6.1 million. In the context of formal trade relations, Trinidad and Tobago, and I think the chairman has mentioned it, Trinidad and Tobago has either in the past enjoyed or has on the agenda in terms of its schedule to engage a number of Spanish-speaking countries. And by and large, when we are speaking of Latin America, we are speaking about Latin American countries in the main. For some time now, Trinidad and Tobago has been party to trade agreements as part of CARICOM with Colombia, Venezuela, Cuba, Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, and in the recent past has engaged Panama in a partial scope agreement, singularly, that is outside of CARICOM, and that agreement is still being finalized, although already negotiated, and currently the agreement with Guatemala is still being negotiated. There is expected to be a next round of negotiations during the course of the early part of next month, where it is hoped that the agreement will be completed by then. The future also envisages the other countries in Central America, namely El Salvador and Honduras. These initiatives are pivotal to our national trust to further trade linkages by providing opportunities for manufacturers in these markets. The utilization of the agreements which we have entered into during the past years has not been to the level of satisfaction that we would seek from these formal trade arrangements. And we expect that the measures that will follow will boost this initiative. At the national level also, we are streamlining economic sectors. And the chairman did mention the areas that we have outlined. And these areas are areas in which we will be seeking to focus our national resources in the context of the objective for the sector. Complementarily, we seek to align the roles of institutions, and the process will not escape BDC, and the chairman spoke about realignment, and we are looking at the broader realignment of all the institutions in the sector. So we do expect that those activities, namely the export efforts and the institutional realignments, will optimize what we can get from these sectors as we seek to get them to contribute to the national diversification effort. Relatedly, as we seek to attract both foreign and domestic investment into the selected sectors, we see the market opportunities that we can generate to be critical to such successes. The efforts of the BDC with respect to the survey program covering such agents, such non-energy sectors as food and beverage, chemicals, and non-metallic, minerals, printing and packaging, publishing, I think miscellaneous manufacturers, wood and wood-related products, that is therefore a welcome move. The role of the BDC is critical in our eyes in working with the exporting community. And this will attract added importance in the near future. The organization will be required to ensure that it provides the business sector, that it will be necessary to ensure that it provides the business sector focused activities in an efficient manner. We see the BDC's responsibility as critical to fostering partnerships of private sector associations such as the relevant chambers, the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, the TTCSI, public agencies such as Exim Bank, TTBS, Kariri, and line ministries in order to ensure the export competitiveness of firms in the non-energy, manufacturing, and services sectors so that it would grow and diversify trade so as to generate export-led growth and national wealth. It is therefore necessary at this point to reiterate some of the key functions which we see the BDC performing in the support process. Firstly, we speak about providing manufacturers and service providers with business-friendly information on market access opportunities and on doing business in targeted markets. We also see it equipping firms with the necessary tools to increasingly take advantage of market access opportunities abroad. Also providing information and ensuring that firms meet voluntary, market-related, mandatory, or statutory requirements and other international market requirements so as to compete domestically and internationally. To identify opportunities for Trinidad and Tobago products and services abroad. To facilitate trade and export missions abroad organized by the private sector. Creation of business linkages and matchmaking between domestic suppliers and foreign distributors. The building of the export selling capabilities of firms to bolster and develop in their international selling skills. To provide business intelligence to firms in the form of country, company, market, and sector information. As you will recognize, key to the list of responsibilities will be the provision of market intelligence. The BDC will be required to work in partnership with all the private and public sector agencies to ensure that a wide pool of information is available to interested stakeholders in a coordinated way to optimize the market access opportunities available in selected countries. The BDC will be mandated to pursue the administrative arrangements to give effect to the system. And the chairman already mentioned that they have started signing MOUs with a few agencies. So that is part of the process. I do understand that today, the results of the first market survey in Panama and El Salvador, and the second market survey in the Dominican Republic and Guatemala, which took place during the period September-October 2011 and April-May 2012, respectively, will be shared with the participants. In addition, there will be the sharing of information about possible business contacts and products which could prove meaningful to existing exporters and aspirants to these markets. I am also quite sure that you are aware that non-tariff measures are as relevant to improve market access as tariff measures, and that you will ensure that due recognition is paid to this issue as you engage in your deliberations. My challenge to you today is to seek out from Kofi and others, as they present their work, what is there for you in context of goods and services in these markets. If there is nothing, why not? What can you tell them so that the next time they present, they address your interest? And in short, what can you get from the whole arrangement? It is not just a one-way stream, so you will have to feed back information into the process so that it can better help the BDC to undertake its work. And in short, you need to build a partnership as you interact with the BDC. I do wish you tremendous success with this morning's program, as it marks not only an information event, but rather the commencement of a relationship, which we do hope will provide a platform for improved trading relations and expansion and growth of opportunities for the export of goods and services from Trinidad and Tobago to the Latin American markets. The Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment will be working with the BDC to ensure that the collective efforts of the domestic trade sector realize positive growth in trade in the non-energy sector over the next few years. Ladies and gentlemen, I therefore urge you to engage in a frank exchange and discussion of ideas as you move forward with the proceedings of this morning. I do thank you and thank the BDC again for inviting the ministry to participate.